In this session, I'm going to show you the stack panel. Now, the stack panel is a layout or container element that allows you to organize other elements on the page. Now, to do this, I'm going to go down to the toolbox and I'm going to select the stack panel and I'm going to drag and drop it onto the page. You'll notice it's placed it where I've dropped it. If you remember from the previous sessions, I've already said that if you open a tag and then close the tag later on rather than self-closing the tag, anything you place within that tag is contained within that element. So here you can see that we've got a grid element, and inside the grid element we have a button and we've got a stack panel. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the self-closing tag on the stack panel and I'm going to close it like so. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to place the button inside the stack panel. Now you can see that the button is contained within the stack panel. Now all of the alignment properties that we set on the button are no longer applying to the button on the page, because the button itself is no longer a sub-element of the original page or the grid that it was a member of. It's now actually a member of the stack panel, so it's aligning itself to its parent element, in this case the stack panel. And the stack panel is positioned based on the drag and drop that I did. So I'm actually going to clear out all of the stack panel data or properties, and instead by clearing that you can see that it's defaulted to stretch. Up until now we've looked at left, right, or top and bottom alignment for horizontal and vertical alignment, but you also have the ability to stretch, and what stretch does is it tries to spread the element to maximize the width within its parent container. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to place a label in. Now again, you can use the toolbox and you can drag and drop the label, or if you understand what the element is, you can just enter the label like this. Now this has an open and a closing tag, and I don't need it for this element because it's not going to contain anything, so I'm going to self-close it by using the close right at the end of the tag. Now this label, I'm going to set the content to be click me, so this is a label, and as you can see you've got the label here, you've got the button, and these are contained within the stack panel. The stack panel will either stack items horizontally or vertically, and by default, unless you tell it otherwise, it will stack them in a vertical stack. So I'm actually going to now change the orientation to horizontal. And now you can see that it's placing them horizontally. The other thing I'm going to do is, the stack panel is quite large, so I'm going to reduce the size of this. So I'm going to set the horizontal alignment to be stretch, but I'm going to set the vertical alignment to be top. Okay, now I haven't set a height, but because it's stacked to the top rather than stretching, it collapses to the size that's most appropriate for the content here. Now, if I click away so you can see this, you've got the click me label and then you've got the button stacked after it. What you can do is you can use margins to separate things out further if you want to. So with the button, I'm just going to set the margin left to be 20 pixels, and you can notice that it hops over there. Okay, so the main thing to remember with the stack panel is it's really useful for stacking contained elements either vertically or horizontally, and orientation is the key word or the key property that you would use to determine whether it stacks horizontally or vertically.